Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Richard Moglen and welcome to another video. So on my last video, Michael Park left this very interesting comment where basically he asked what my purple dots mean and what their PCF codes are. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to go through each of my custom indicators one by one and explain how I developed it, how I coded it, and also how I incorporated it into my training style. And as for the PCF codes, everything will be linked down below so you can copy and use them as you wish. All I ask is that if you do intend to use them, that you leave a like on this video and also make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I would really appreciate that. So starting with the purple dots, I wanted to create an indicator that was activated when a stock rests for a little bit and then starts moving up very quickly and starts another step upwards. So looking quickly at the PCF code, I don't want to get too in depth here, but all the details are in the description, as I said. But essentially it has to do with the differences in percentage of exponential moving averages, and also you have to make sure that the close has been increasing 3 days in a row. So this is essentially a reflection of the Guppy charts on a daily chart. And to illustrate this fact, let's go ahead and look at the daily Guppy chart and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So as I said, I wanted to create an indicator that is activated when the stock starts moving up once again after resting for a little bit. And I also wanted it to continue to be activated as the stock is making solid gains. So PLMR isn't the greatest example because it's just been on a very good tear this year, but let's look at the QQQ because you can use these indicators on really anything. So looking at the start of this year, you can see we had a great run up until the later months of 2018, and then we started decreasing a lot, and you can see a lot of the purple indicators go away. But then starting on 12/31, the first purple dot indicator is activated, and this corresponds to when the exponential moving averages in red are quickly moving up and gaining value. And this continues like breadcrumbs as the stock continues its advance, and then you can see it stops almost on the day that the stock tops at that point and then drops back down and corrects. And this kind of repeats for each of the legs upwards this year. And I'm very happy with the results actually because I find it's really, really helpful. So next I want to explain the orange dot indicator, and this is a function of the 12, 26, 9 MACD and also the volume. So I found that when a stock is increasing on volume and the MACD is also increasing, that's a very solid point to be invested in that stock. So this condition right here is just checking that the MACD is increasing, and this checks that the current volume is greater than at least 90% of the average daily volume. And so looking at the chart, you can see that the orange dot indicator is activated when a stock is rising on increased volume, which indicates a strong support for the stock move. So next I want to talk about the green dot indicator, which is the green dot on my charts and also the green bars on my stochastic. And looking at the code real quick, basically the conditions that need to be satisfied is that the stochastic has to be crossing above its 4-day moving average. So here this is checking that the 10-4 stochastic 1 bar ago was less than the 4-day moving average, and this is checking that now it's above it. So basically it's crossed over, and I'll show this graphically in just a second. But looking at the final condition, this crossover needs to occur when the 10-4 stochastic is less than 60, and this makes sure that the stock is oversold. So let's look at when this actually occurs. I think this is a great entry point and is a great thing to have on your screens. So looking at the chart for the QQQ, this occurs when the stock has decreased and become oversold and then starts moving up and confirms the move. And it can occur many times when the stock is kind of going sideways, but just because one doesn't work doesn't mean the next one will not. And I found that they are more likely to work when the stock is even more oversold. So I know the criteria is less than 60, but if you can get it less than 40, less than 30, that is even more likely to be successful and be picking a good entry point. So taking a look at an example, let's look at PLMR. You can see right here the stock moved up very well then consolidated a bit, and then there was another green dot signal, which signified another move upwards. And from this point on, the stock is now up 18%. So you can see how effective this can be. But as always, and with all these indicators, you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself with stop losses. So for a green dot entry, you want to make sure that your stop loss is set at least at the low of the previous 5 days. So that way, if it moves against you, you can know that the green dot entry failed and that you should get out of that stock. So now finally, we're going to be talking about my Bollinger Band bounce indicators, which I have found to be very, very helpful. And really the ideal situation for me is that you've got a green dot and a blue dot appearing on the same bar, and then right afterwards you have a bunch of purple and orange dots indicating that the stock is moving up very strongly. And this is actually what occurred for PLMR, and this is really what's causing that 20% move that it's almost doing. So what I've got plotted here, and I think this is really useful especially for new traders, is I've got the current price in relation to where it is in the Bollinger Band range. So looking at the formula for this line, you can basically see that it's determining where in the range the current price is. And if it's at 1, that means that it's at the very top of the Bollinger Band, and if it's at 15, 5, 0, that means it's near the bottom. And what I found is the stock is likely to bounce when the Bollinger Band, where it is in relation to the Bollinger Band, is less than 0.25 or 25%. So the lower fourth of the Bollinger Band range. And then what I've also done is create my Bollinger Band bounce indicators, which take that information and find good entry points. So looking at the actual PCF code, you can see that there's a couple different conditions that need to be met. First, the low of yesterday or the low of today has to be below the lower Bollinger Band, the lower 15.2 Bollinger Band. And the current close has to be above the close of yesterday, and the close has to be above the lower Bollinger Band. And the final thing is that you also want to make sure that it's oversold, so you have to make sure that the stochastic is less than 60. So the Bollinger Band bounce in combination with the green dot entry has become my preferred method, and it's why on this kind of main graph that I'm starting to use more and more, those are the only 2 dots that I really look for. And I've found in conditions where you have a Bollinger Band bounce and then a green dot, those are the best and likely most successful trades that I'm going to make. And that's why I always try to look for those patterns and find a good low risk entry point. Just going through quickly the watch list that I have here, you can see a bunch of examples of really good Bollinger and green dot entry setups. Right here on Doku, on ATKR, I remember there being a good one. Yeah, you can see it's near all-time highs, consolidates for a little bit, and then you have a breach of the lower Bollinger Band on a green dot day and a bounce off the Bollinger Band the next day. So right here is a very good low risk entry point. You've also got the 50-day moving average in support here, and after this point it really moved up quickly and is up 40% in just under 2 months. So really look for that setup. You've got the green dot here, the Bollinger Band bounce here, and the 50-day in support, all really good entry setups happening at the same time. You want to have the most potential for success and a quick run up in the shortest amount of time. And what my dots allow you to do is kind of find prime spots that will do just that. And actually scrolling out, you can actually see a bunch of other times where the same thing occurred on this great run up from ATKR. You can see here there's an overshoot of the 52 moving average. It moved up. Here once again, and it moved up. Here a pullback to the 50-day, a big natural reaction, tennis ball action right here, and then kind of consolidation until this really prime point right here. So my recommendation for you guys is if you are going to use any of my dots, I recommend you using my blue dots and also Dr. Wish's green dot as well, because I think those are the most effective and those can help out new traders the best. And one last thing, I just want to show you how to edit the dots to make them look how you want. So just using an example, the Bollinger Band dots, once you copy and paste the PCF code right here, all you gotta do is change this from a line to a dot, and then you can make it whatever color you want. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have another topic that you'd like me to cover in a video, feel free to leave it down below in the comment section. And also, I'd be really appreciative if you leave a like as well. Thanks again for watching, and I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys in future videos.